Well, welcome to the IT Quarterly Meeting. I got to tell you, these are great opportunities for us to talk and communicate, and also a great opportunity to get to know a little bit about the districts, that we all service. Something like 80% of the staff at Caltrans are out in the districts, so it's so important for us to get a perspective of that. And at the same time, as with the prior IT Quarterly staff meetings, we're going to try to keep this a little interesting. Now, today we're very lucky to have Brent here. Brent's the district director over D9. So good to see you, Brent.
Good to see you. I'm glad that you're here.
Thank you so much.
It's been a great couple of days. I know that the team that's been working with your team has had a lot of fun. I got a little sneak preview of what's coming up. I think it's going to be fantastic.
All
and I'm
right.
hoping at some point during our conversation you clarify the mistake that you made earlier.
You're right. I need to open. Let's open that. I need to apologize to everybody out there. If you saw the San Luis one, I made a terrible mistake. I said San Luis was the best district with the best area. Clearly, after being here for a couple days, I was totally wrong.
That's right.
When I look at the Sierras, actually getting out of the hotel this morning, just having a great view of the Sierras.
It's beautiful.
And the other thing is the folks are so hospitable here. And I got to tell you, we're able to enjoy a little bit of the town last night, and folks are so friendly and welcoming. It's unlike any other district I've been to.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I mean, I've been in a lot of different districts in my career with Caltrans. And certainly District 9 is by far, the most beautiful. And the people that are here, they love the area. They're here because of the area. Almost, if you were to walk through our compound and see the folks, you'd recognize immediately that they're outdoorsy, they're active, they're engaged with the community. It's a small community. They love their community. It's got good and bad. Almost everywhere you go, you know people, which is perfectly fine. Because we've got some great staff here. I enjoy it. And I think the staff do as well.
Mentioning that, I ran into your DDDA, Susie.
Yes.
And she said, "Oh, you were at this restaurant last night." I was like, "How did you know?" She says, "It's a small town, George." And then she went across everything that I ordered. So
yeah. No, I see her doing that.
It's a really tight community, and it's really nice. And you talked about outdoorsy stuff. I knew this was kind of an outdoorsy area when I saw your lifted Land Cruiser.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with that.
That's cool.
I have a lot of fun with that. I think that it's scary if you get out and you do some scary things. You feel like you've accomplished something. So it's
Nice.
great. Enjoy it.
Yeah, it's all about kind of adventure.
It is.
I think in D9, and there's some misconception about D9. A lot of people think it's in Nevada for some reason.
Yeah, I missed an opportunity this morning to tout that. But yeah, I get teased incessantly about the fact that it's in Nevada, and that's fine with a lot of staff here for folks to think that. So
Very good. The other kind of interesting thing is D9 is award-winning. Didn't you guys recently win an award?
We recently won the award for the top district in the state in terms of the external survey of our external stakeholders and customers, which I think is great. We have a great staff. During the recent recognitions awards I gave staff, it was very clear that there's so many people here that do very good outreach with our partners, and so I'm very proud of them and proud of us for getting that award.
Well, fantastic. I know you also spend a lot of time doing outreach with the community and so forth. So I want to thank you for that and everything that you do, and as well as hosting us. It was so nice, right, for you to allow us to come down and chat and spend a little time with you and spending the time with us after hours last night. So thank you for that.
That's right. I'm learning a lot, both at the job and off.
Oh, I know. Sometimes, at those places, that's where you learn the most about
That's right.
What's happening.
Well, I did learn a lot. In all seriousness, I learned a lot. And not to get too serious, but with SB1, $100 million a year is what we're expected to get out of efficiencies. And it's obvious, talking to your team yesterday and last night, that Caltrans can make a lot of those efficiencies just by working with your team. I had no idea the tools in the toolbox that your staff can bring the department. And so I'm very encouraged when I hear what you're doing in terms of what you can bring to the organization and help us be more efficient. So thank you for that.
You bet. And I look forward to more collaboration. I got to tell you, having been here again, it's such great weather. I'm going to come down more often. So if you see me here, we're going to do a weekly ITL quarterly meeting in Bishop, just so you know, for future events.
Bring your skis.
There it is. The other thing that kind of happened as an event is, can you tell me a little bit more about Mule Days? I hear this thing about Mule Days.
Mule Days is a huge event in Bishop. It's the kind of the cream of the crop in terms of what we do here. Everyone's invested in it. When I first came here the first year, I kind of had the same question. It's like, I knew Mule Days, but what is that all about? And literally you have people coming from all over the country, to participate in Mule Days. The Mule Days Parade is one of the pinnacle events. And of course, Main Street is also 395, so we're very engaged in that. It's a fun time for everybody. It's about a week-long event. There's a lot of competitions, which are similar to what you would see in horse competitions. But one of the things about the parade is it's the largest non-motorized parade. So you won't see anything motorized. It's all either walking or mule-driven. So it's exciting. It's a good time.
Well, fantastic. Yeah, I was talking with some locals, and they were saying how busy it was last week, or
That's
last
right.
weekend compared to this week.
It's funny, my whole career I've always commuted a long way. And now if there's a few extra cars on the road and I have to wait for one signal, then I get irritated already. So yeah, the commute's pretty short here for most people.
You were joking about your 3-minute commute, and
That's right.
sometimes it's hard to gauge whether you're going to make it here on time.
That's right, yeah.
So one of the beautiful things about Bishop. But, speaking of Mule Days, I actually have a little competition for you.
good.
And I want to introduce Patty Nysonger. Patty, can you come up? Hi, Patty. Patty, you may remember, used to work with us in IT, but now Patty is the CIO of High Speed Rail. So we'll be chatting with Patty a little bit about High Speed Rail and what's going on. But for now, we've got a little competition.
It's my secret tool here.
Yeah, as I said earlier, we're in Brent's hometown, so there you go. So we're ready for the competition. Now, it's pretty easy. Is it mule or donkey, right? So first to raise their paddle, or I'll go to first. Are you ready? So the first question is, Democratic Party logo, mule or donkey? Oh, I'm gonna give the ladies first. I'm gonna give her this one. So
It was right on my
donkey.
side of the paddle.
So donkey, so that's one for Patty. You guys ready for the next one? All right, 80s video game character, mule or donkey?
Oh gosh, I think I'm going to go with
Boom,
this.
all right, I'm gonna give Brent that one, donkey. So 1-1, and the answer's always been donkey. Now, I don't think that's a hint, but.
Uh-oh.
Are you guys ready now? Now you've got donkey ready now.
Yeah,
no matter
me
what
too.
the answer is. All right, I see how you guys are competitive. All right, third question. In the auto industry, a testbed vehicle camouflaged to deceive competitors. Oh, I know this one. This is for me. Oh,
If it's
come
about
on.
cars, it's for
about
you.
cars. Oh, so are you showing that to me like I'm the mule, or that's your answer? Mule?
I'm going to go with mule.
All right,
Okay.
donkey. It's development mule or test mule. So oftentimes they camouflage cars and see how they operate. All right. Mom is a horse. Well, I'm not saying that derogatorily to anybody.
When did you
but-
meet my mother?
Good one. I should give you bonus points for that. Holy smokes. Mom is a horse. Mule or donkey? Mule? And the answer is mule. Mom is a horse. Dad is a donkey. I had no idea. See, the stuff you can only learn on this show. Now, you can't use it anywhere, but you're learning it. All
And if
right.
those roles are reversed, it's a henny.
Wow, the
Yeah,
bonus
see?
points. I'll give you 1,000
Wow.
bonus points for
There
that
you
one.
go.
That's good. Henny. I know. Do you feel like...
I feel disadvantaged here.
It's the hat. He's got the hat. He's got the
Yeah,
power hat on. Pinocchio became one. I don't think I know this one.
I thought he became a
Well,
little boy.
That's
I'm
what I
going to go
thought.
with this.
Mule? Mule? Donkey? Donkey.
It is a donkey. Wow.
I had no idea.
Good job.
Does anybody keep in score? I know Brent's got 1,000 points
I
for the
only
extra
said
one.
donkey because you said mule.
Yeah. 50-50 chance.
All right, here we go. Starred with Don Knotts in the 1976 Disney film Gus. The field goal kicking
I think it's going to be a donkey,
Donkey?
this time.
Patty, mule. Survey says mule. Wow. Holy smokes! Now I know both of
I
you are
kept
too
hearing
young.
the hee-haw, and I know the hee-haw is a donkey.
That's a donkey song. Well, maybe it wasn't
I remember
necessarily
that
correct.
movie.
Do you really?
I do.
That's hard to believe. There's no way.
Sorry to say I do.
See, that was unfair advantage then on your part.
You're right, because you're too young, obviously, to
Of
see the
course.
movie.
Wow.
Oh, here's a newer one. Speaking of movies, Shrek's sidekick.
It's got to
I
be a
have
donkey.
no idea.
All right.
It's got to be.
All right, here we go. Donkey versus mule. Donkey. It is donkey. Have you seen the movie?
Of course.
All
I have
right.
kids.
Wow, perfect. Patty, no. No? All right. Oh, ride into the Grand Canyon. What do you ride into the Grand Canyon? For me, it'd be like a Wrangler or something.
Definitely mule.
All right, mule?
You
I was
want a
going to say
mule.
donkeys are bigger.
Oh, so you know that.
I think.
All right. Mule riding into the Grand Canyon. There we go.
I don't want to do
Absolutely
that.
mule.
You don't. No.
No,
All right.
I don't want to do
Mules
that.
are brave.
Last one. Last question. official state animal of Missouri?
I feel sorry for it if it's either one of these.
Wow.
Mule?
I think
No idea.
Yeah, Missouri's got to get another state animal. All right, mule or donkey? Mule.
Hey,
the
look at
Missouri
that.
Mule.
Wow.
Well, there we go. Did anybody
Yeah.
happen to keep score? Because I wasn't. I think you're both winners. Brett? All right.
Oh, well.
Wow.
Nice job.
Good competition there.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Patty. I appreciate it. Thanks,
No
Brent.
problem.
I'm sure we'll
Sure.
be back. I think now we're actually going to have a small conversation with Mike Cooper.
Excuse me?
Coop. You've got the best name of the IT managers, man. Everybody's, I've got these names like traditional names, right? Sharon or Rick, but you, Coop, I love it.
Well, it is Mike. But Coop, yes, I
Coop
agree.
works too?
Awesome. Coop works.
All right, fantastic. How long have you been here in D9?
17 years, almost
Long
18
ride.
in November.
And you've had a variety of positions here. I hear you're actually the DDDA at one time?
Yeah, I was acting DDDA about 2 years ago for about 8 months.
All right.
That was an interesting time here in District 9.
Now, how'd you like that? And when you say, I'm sorry, I got to go back to that now. An interesting time for D9, not for you, but for D9, the fun.
No, being, yeah,
All
both.
right. All right, I'm just trying to clarify, George.
Yeah.
All right.
No, it was a good experience.
Yep.
Learning a lot about the organization, dealing with situations I wouldn't normally deal with
Yes.
in my IT position. So.
Yeah, for the DDDA, I mean, that's all the HR, budget, facilities. That's a pretty broad responsibility.
Right, and personal actions.
Oh, and personnel actions. Let's not forget those.
No,
So were
unfortunately.
you able to adjust the budget to IT when you were DDA? Did you do any kind of baseline increases to IT when you were there?
We did a couple of things
All
that
right,
I won't mention on the webcast.
All right, fair enough, fair enough.
But it was all legal.
It was all legit.
Yes,
All right.
absolutely.
Very cool.
Yeah.
The other thing I hear is you're a coach.
I'm a coach. I'm a coach at Bishop Union High School here.
All right.
The offensive coordinator for the junior varsity level.
Awesome.
But we have an interesting way that we run our program. Our JVs and our varsity
Okay.
practice together.
Oh,
So I'm an offensive coach, so I coach only the offense. So varsity will come, and we coach varsity offense, and then the JV comes, and I coach the JV offense. So
Wow.
yeah, it's been great.
How long you been doing that for?
I just started this year. I was a youth
really?
coach before.
Okay. Perfect.
They needed some help, and so I offered my services. Yeah.
Got it. Well, here this year too, we talked a little bit about this year. You just scrambled to get a quarterback.
Yeah, we had a quarterback that was there for 3 years, and he graduates this year, and he was really starting to come along. And we wish we had him for another year, but we have a freshman quarterback who's starting to look really good in spring. So
Okay.
he looks like he might be the guy. So we'll see.
Nice.
It's not my call, but
All right.
But he's-
We're not
he's
letting out any. Is there a news flash? We can say we heard it here first.
We're here first. Yeah, our Division 6 team over here.
Well, cool. I think it's awesome. You stay so involved in the community. I know the community is very tight knit. So
Yeah, and you
that's
have
nice.
to be. I mean, we have an opportunity here for what we
Yep.
do to really help out, and so it's great to be with the young men, to really make a difference for them. Some of these kids, need the help, so
Yeah.
it's been good.
we all do, and then there's a bit of travel with that team as well.
Yeah, we don't have anybody nearby, so our closest game usually is about a 3-hour trip in a bus.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been
Wow, it can be trying.
trying, but it's great. It's a great opportunity for the kids to have fun. And,
Good.
yeah.
Well, I think that's important. I think I like that you're taking a leadership role not only here in the district. And I got to tell you, Brent does. We were talking with Brent this morning. You do a great job here, so I appreciate all your work. But also, that leadership role outside of work too. So I appreciate that as well.
Well, thank you. Yeah,
You
appreciate
bet.
that.
You bet. So here we got a small video here. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, so.
Oh, you haven't seen it?
I haven't
All right,
seen
all right.
it. I'm excited to.
All right,
kinda
it's
see what-
Ghostbusters? No, no, that was last time. But the crew here does a great job, and I
Oh,
want to
they've been
thank your
great.
team for participating.
Yeah, a lot of fun having them here for the week. So.
All right, well, let's see the video.
Welcome to Caltrans District 9, one of our larger districts. It includes over 16,000 square miles, attracting tourists from all over the globe. The Caltrans District Office in Bishop attracts some of the finest IT professionals from all over the county. The IT department in Caltrans District 9 includes nearly 5 employees who provide a broad range of information technology expertise in support of over 250 customers. The IT unit is different than most because the staff are not specialized in a specific IT function. Let's take a closer look at life in D9 IT. It looks like Jason is out to test a mobile phone. Nice work, Jason. What could Will be up to? Wrong way, Will. Oh, it's a changeable message sign. Nice job, Will. Here's Mike, hard at work on some new technology. He definitely seems to be in a hurry. Oh, it's a new version of a drone. Nice work, Mike. Let's give it a test fight. Ah, it looks like somebody's testing out a VoIP circuit. Ah, it's Will. Good work, Will. So there you have it. Caltrans District 9 IT, where your career, your skills, and your beard will grow. We're glad you're here. Welcome to District 9 IT.
Well, great video. I hope you guys had fun with it. Looks like you had fun with it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It
All
was
right.
great.
You know, I gotta tell you, I've only been here a couple days, but I feel like I fit in now. I don't know what it is, but
That's awesome.
so everybody who on the audience, if you're follically challenged, come to Bishop, you know, and you can in 2 days grow a full beard. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thanks, Frank.
I appreciate it. Good discussion. All right. You know, I hope you had fun with that. I got to tell you, I want to thank the IT team here in Bishop for having that. Really the audiovisual team for doing such a great job putting that together. It always makes these very entertaining. I also want to give you some IT updates. You know, we have a section where we talk about the IT updates, but I typically lead that off. There's really 3 things I want to talk about today. You know, SB1, the historic transportation funding. You know, you may have seen this go down about a month ago, or there was a big push for additional funding. And it's really related to gas tax. You know, it's also some new registration fees. But really the discussion is not about that. To me, the discussion is around improving all the highways and freeways, all that deferred maintenance that never got addressed. You know, if you look at Brown, you look at what he talked about, his messaging was around, you know, if you've got a house that's got a leaky roof, if you've got a car that needs repair, you've got to get that stuff fixed, because the longer you don't address that, the more expensive it is. So certainly what we're going to see is transportation, I think, really did a great job pushing for SB1, about $5 billion annually. What you see going forward is a lot of activity, which there are also going to be some potential new hires, both in IT and especially in the program areas. Now, the way that worked out for us in IT is we looked at our staff ratios, and it's basically 100 to 1 on the service desk, help desk staff. So let's say Bishop picks up 200 staff. What you'll see is then 2 IT staff deployed to Bishop. So the IT staff will basically follow where all those program bodies land, is what we're looking at. So that's SB1. More to come. The other thing on that is there's been a big push for data, because there's a lot of metrics and a lot of reporting around SB1. Certainly, you know, if we raise taxes, you know, if there's more registration fees, folks want to know what's going on with that money and, you know, how that's improved, you know, 395 or different highways. So you'll see some data efforts on the IT side. I know we're talking a lot with the program areas to see where the data's at and some of the best ways to deliver that information. We've talked a lot about 17, 18 BCPs. Those were last year's BCPs. You're going to hear Mike, and I think Mike will do something interesting regarding his BCP. But essentially, you know, we talked about being on the 2-yard line, then the 2-inch line, and, you know, hooray, we actually crossed over. So we got 12 million in hardware refresh, and we also picked up 4 mil for security and 6 PYs. Now, I think the initial perspective on that is on the 12 mil, all right, we got 12 mil. Then half an hour later, it's like, oh man, we got a lot of work to do. So you're going to see that as Mike starts to develop plans around hardware refresh and where they're going to go, what equipment is the oldest, and also kind of scheduling. So we're going to need everybody's help. That'll be one of our largest priorities in the coming year, because we're going to go back for another BCP, because the 12 mil doesn't cover all of our deferred maintenance on our equipment. So we've got to be able to prove to our overseers, whether it's finance or the legislature or whomever, that the money went to a good place and that we're able to replace all that old equipment, server, storage, and network, and we can go back for more and take another bite of the apple, and hopefully go for a baseline increase is what we're hoping to do. So that's 17, 18. The last thing I want to talk about, you've kind of heard us talk about the reorg, kind of time and time again in these quarterly meetings. And the good news is we finally got to a place where we've had some discussions with HR. So you're going to start to hear more about that from your soups and managers. And I can't really go into the details. It's probably best heard from your first level soup or manager. But I can tell you that we're hoping to make this effective mid-July. So look for more information to come down the pipe. I don't think you're going to see substantive changes. The person you report to, 99% of the cases won't change. And certainly, the location that you work won't change as well. So it'll be an effect, but mostly for our soups and managers, more than the first line staff. So look for that. I think that brings me actually to our guest that we had up earlier, Patty Nicelonger. Patty, welcome.
Thank you, George.
Have a seat. Oh, that's the losing seat. No, that was the winning seat. This was the.
I'll
I'm
stand.
sorry, I won't bring that up.
I'll stand.
That's an old route. I'm
Just
sorry.
stand.
All right. Well, how many years did you end up working at Caltrans before you moved over to High Speed Rail?
Just short of 9 years.
All right.
Yeah.
And congratulations on
Thank
the
you.
promotion. You went from
Thank
division
you.
chief to CIO. So very nice. And a
Part
very
of the club now, right?
Yes, you're part of the crew. Exactly. Secret handshake. We'll have to do it off
Oh,
camera.
well, no, we can't let them see.
That's right. So tell me, what's going on? What's new at High Speed Rail?
Everything is new at High Speed Rail.
New CIO?
New CIO.
Yeah.
It's a relatively new department. So everything is new there. It's a new infrastructure, new network, new systems in development to support rail delivery.
Okay.
I have an awesome group of IT professionals.
Not as good as Caltrans, though. Come on, we got to be honest. You're on camera. You can say it.
How about they're just as
Okay.
good? They're
Just-
even.
okay, they're even. All right,
They're
even's
just
good.
as good.
I'll
They're
take that.
All
I'll take that.
fantastic.
I love it. All right.
All part of transportation, right?
Yes, you're right. All
Yeah.
one big family.
Right. So my staff, they're focused primarily on infrastructure and network and security. Then we have a vendor on board who's doing system implementation for all of the systems that are needed to support rail delivery. And speaking of the rail, which is what everybody always asks, when do I get to start riding it, right? Well, the first segment, which is lovingly known as Valley to Valley,
Okay.
which is north of Bakersfield in the Central Valley to San Jose in the Silicon Valley. That's expected to complete or scheduled to complete in 2025.
Oh, that's not that far away.
Right. Then the first full phase, San Francisco to LA, should follow in about 2029.
Great. So you'll be handing out those free passes for all those rides?
Tickets for everybody.
Wow, I
right?
love it. What's the expiration
I'm
date
going to
on
order
those
a
things?
new printer. I'm
Okay, I
gonna print
love
it
it.
for you.
I love it.
Right. Expiration 2024.
The first leg goes in 2025? Thank you, Patty. I appreciate the hookup on that.
I'm here to help. I'm here
Well, you
to help.
have. I got to tell you, I've really enjoyed working with you, and I know that you're still part of the transportation family,
I am.
and we'll continue working together. And we
Absolutely.
wish you all the best.
Thank you. I look forward
Yeah.
to collaboration.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Patty.
George.
All right, I think that takes us to the division chief updates. And Greg Gallagher, I see you and I almost got the dress code perfect, right? We
Almost.
just got to get the shirts worked out, and we're good next time.
Right on. Yeah,
Although you've
so
got a nicer
trying to-
tie. They've got this
Got
thing
a
about
little bit of
upstaging the boss.
Caltrans, yeah.
Oh,
That's
now
right.
you're playing the Caltrans
Yeah, I
card.
am.
Wow, you have been here a long time. I love that.
Yes.
If I prick you, will you bleed orange too?
Orange,
Is that-
yes,
all right.
absolutely.
'Cause you-
Little cars coming out.
Wow. Man. Let's switch. I think you're the CIO, and I'm actually the
right,
division chief.
yeah,
the
no,
way, the way you're playing that.
We are
Very,
okay right now.
very nice. So, what's going on in CSD?
Well, we've got a few things going on in CSD. First thing we have is a milestone accomplishment, actually, which was a long time in coming for those that were helping with this. And we finally have our 17-18 IT project proposals actually in place, voted on, and moving forward. We started with 30 proposals from our customers. We worked with the Financial Policy Board, and they selected the top 16 that they felt were the focus for us moving forward. So now we've got the PMO staff mobilized to deliver the next step in the PAL process, either completing the S1BA or the S2AA. So we've got a team being assigned to each of those proposals of a business analyst, a project manager. We'll have a testing group part of that too. So we are going to be working to aggressively deliver the different phases of PAL for those 16. And then we'll do it over in 2018.
All right, you said 30 projects. Certainly, we must have
Started.
more than 30 efforts going on here. Are these small, all the small
These
projects? All the
are
medium
projects that were over $500,000.
Okay, got it. So these are-
And yeah, so things under that, we do have an intake process
Okay.
to move through on those. And we also, of course, have the ongoing. I think we have about 59 total projects in the portfolio from intake all the way through peer. So we've got
Fantastic.
quite a few.
Well, the other thing, you're being modest about this, but you actually carried the water, through the executive board meetings and the financial policy board meetings. So I really do thank you for that, Greg. I know.
Thank you.
Can you imagine, trying to get 30 people or even 10 people to agree, right, on something, especially as precious as, which IT projects are going to go forward.
Right, thank you very much.
So that was difficult,
Yeah.
but great job.
Can't wait to happen again in 2018.
All right, you don't want to do it next month? No?
Let's do it right now. Yeah,
All right,
let's
all
start
right.
now.
I
What
love
we do
it.
is start now.
All right.
All right, and moving into more of what's happening right now, I'm going to announce right now for all IT in the world. Some of the managers have heard this already, but we're launching a 60 in 3 effort, and that is our goal is to finally take care of all those vacancies we have in IT, and we've got quite a few. And we're looking to hire 60 new people in 3 months. And yet I'm hearing derisive laughter all over the place.
I know, I thought the first one was tough, the prioritization of IT project priorities, but now you want to hire 60 people in 3
Yes,
months?
so we are working on trying to make sure we've got resources available to help where necessary to keep the hires moving. We've got staff ready to help out the Division of Human Resources in terms of the workload that may be heading to them, so we can keep it moving there. And we also know that's a lot of workload on the hiring managers for all of us here. So we will be having resources available to hiring managers if they would like to help with scoring, ranking, sitting on interviews. We can even help managers schedule the interviews, escort the candidates up. Nice. So we will be having people available to help with that. So
That's fantastic.
I believe we can do it. So
All right.
sticking with that story.
I know, and I know you've already got some under your belt, so
We do.
So that's a good start. I appreciate that. I am very curious to see how this works out. So hopefully at the next quarterly meeting you can report back.
All right.
You did
So for the managers,
61 in 3.
hiring managers out there, first come, first serve. So just so you know,
Yeah.
I'll help that way too.
That's a big deal. You're right.
The other thing we've been working on, and a lot of the managers have been working on this as well, has been the upcoming year's spending plan, the 17-18 spending plan. So we've been having meetings with managers, the division chiefs going over the spending plans. 85% of our budget, I think you've mentioned this before, is on costs that are fairly fixed. The OTEC or the CDT bill, the telecom cost, and the ongoing hardware and software maintenance. And so we started by looking at all that, and George is a taskmaster when it comes to savings, so he's been pushing us very hard to come with those additional savings to free up money to do some of the other stuff that we would like to do. So my advice with anybody providing information to your management team is have a solid case for why you need this money, because there's, the questions of why you need it and what about this or how about that is going to be present. And then the next thing we're working on is just what's left in our the budget after we look at all those fixed costs to find those new spends.
Very good. And that's something I think a lot of folks have been interested, to be honest with you, whether we talk about financial policy board or, even when we look at vacancies and we talk to Department of Finance about new BCPs, that's something they've got a keen interest in. So you've got a tough job, and I know I throw a lot of stuff at you.
A lot of questions.
But-
That's good, though.
Yeah, I think fundamentally, understanding our business, controlling our assets, whether there are hardware, software, or applications or so forth, is going to be more and more critical.
Yes, so thank you for that. So looking ahead a little bit, we are about to embark on our 17-18 IT business planning efforts. So some of you remember the 16-17 business planning effort, and we are going to be updating this. So we are, and it's really the we, not only the division chiefs and the managers, but we're hoping the managers will also reach out to staff to engage them in this effort to update our graphic here. Basically, I'm sure we'll have a different graphic coming out of there, but we're going to be looking at what we've accomplished in the 16-17 years, how close have we hit these initiatives that we had, as well as looking what are the new initiatives coming up to help us continue to build our pyramid, transform efficiency, stability, and continuing to operate as one IT with collaboration, business focus, and achievement orientation. So that'll be kicking off sometime in July. We'll be scheduling meetings.
Nice. Chatting with Brent earlier, and he said it also looks like a birthday cake, and I like that analogy, right? Because it's always a happy time.
Maybe a 1-year anniversary. We'll put one
All right,
candle
one
on
candle,
top.
I love that. All
Blow
right.
it out together.
All right, perfect. All right, well, thanks, Ray.
All
I
right.
appreciate all the work that you're
Oh,
doing.
my pleasure. Thank you so much.
I think next we've got infrastructure. Mike, what's it? You got a football? What? You really kind of down home in Bishop, huh?
Morning, George. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing great.
I see you didn't really get the memo on the close, but we'll
Sorry.
we'll work on that.
Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
work on that next time.
All right, cool.
All right, so I got a few updates that I want to share with everyone. Basically, you talked about the BCP earlier, right? Terminology in football. We've been in the red zone for a long time,
we
right?
have, you're right.
And staff have been working so hard, and I just want to shout out, thank to all who have been involved in making this happening. We basically made it into the end zone. We made a touchdown, so I brought the winning touchdown to
Oh, wow.
basically present that to you.
Fantastic.
So basically, with the
Do I
approval,
really get to keep this? Because I'm going to keep it. No.
you got
All
it.
right.
You got it.
right, man.
We'll have you hold it for the team, right?
All right, I'm there.
Cool.
Cool.
So with the $12 million that we got the approval for, that will allow us to concentrate in replacing very aging hardware, most critical, that will be very high impact to the department. And that's what we've been sharing with finance and the legislature, and that approval is in place. So staff have been busy. We've been planning for procurement. What are we buying? What are we replacing? How many we're buying? Which contract vehicles that we're going to be using in July to execute our procurement? All of those have been started back in December, and we're ready to execute with the procurement phase of the project. The strategy here is all hands on deck. Headquarters can't do this alone. Right. Not only that, we just scored 6 points. We got to go for the 2 extra conversion
two, I love
points,
it. Not just the one with the 2.
We got to go for the 2
Man.
points
All right.
because we got to execute, and we got to execute well.
Okay.
We got to make sure that we're on budget, on scope, and on time.
Cool.
Right. So that it will support our efforts in teeing up the 18-19 BCPs that will basically give us the credibility that we know what we're doing, we put money to good use, and we basically remediate all the risks that we've been telling all the control entities.
Yep, perfect. Something I want to ask about. You said you've got a procurement plan?
Yes.
So some of the vendors have been coming to me saying, hey, George, what's up with Mike? I can't feed my kids. I can't put gas in my car. Some of the discounts he's asking for are unbelievable. What are some of those percentages you're getting? I've heard some remarkable numbers.
Well, the baseline is 50% below retail.
Okay.
Right? It is a very competitive process. Some of the manufacturers have basically have been in negotiations with us, and they basically give us discount up north of 60%.
Wow, that's huge.
That's correct.
Good for you.
And vendors, you know who you are. Don't call me, I'll call you. If you want me to call you, you got to basically drop your prices, on all of these
All right.
products. So it is extremely competitive out there, and it's great. We'll be able to buy more if we get
Yep.
steeper discounts from these manufacturers.
Exactly. It's all about stretching our dollars.
Exactly.
So thank you.
Yeah. So just wanted to really reach out and thank the team for all who have been involved in this, from the districts doing all the inventory, the team in headquarters putting all the plans together and getting ready for execution next month. So
Nice.
All right, so next I want to give an update on VoIP, telephony over the internet. We've been longing for that in Caltrans for many years. It is not something like it's a new technology. It has been around for a decade. We're just getting to it. We have had several challenges and barriers along the way, mostly cost, right? You were saying that we have deferred maintenance, in the department. Most of our access layer switches are not ready for VoIP. So we have been negotiating with CalNet 3 providers. They initially came in with their quotes much higher than what we're paying for with our Centrex telephone system. 2x, right? Double the cost of what we're paying. We're supposed to be saving money with VoIP. So there's been a lot of negotiations. Eventually, we got them to basically go below what we're paying.
Right.
With that being said, we're getting new access layer switches. We're getting UPSs for our data closets to make sure that if we lose power, we have redundant power to make sure that telephone services will remain up and running. So I'm very pleased to share that on June 9th, that IT will be sipping the champagne to make sure that everything, is going to be working out well at headquarters.
Nice.
And starting on July 14th, we will roll out approximately 2,000 units at headquarters, and we will follow that at Farmers Market in Sacramento with another 2,000 units. And I anticipate that it's going to go really well. Some of the phones for the IT pilot have been deployed. I called you the other
That's
day.
my first VoIP call.
and-
I was hoping to get, Vanna White or somebody to call me, but instead, oh, it's Mike.
I'm sorry for, the, I didn't live up to your expectation, but, we'll do better next time.
All right.
But for the districts, VoIP is coming, you guys. My understanding is that AT&T have sent their crews out to do the readiness assessment, power, cabling, etc. And they are basically in the process of drafting up the final reports. That will come to me by June 15th. And I will share that with all the IT managers in the districts, ASAP. And we'll go from there. Some districts are more ready than others. When we're talking about readiness, we're talking about cabling and power, right? And access layer switches. Well, part of the package for getting VoIP will be getting new access layer switches, UPSs. But if cabling and power are not ready, we're going to need to basically plan for that to get them to the level that, support VoIP. So for those of you who are very anxious about this, please, 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 be patient. Don't rush out and buy UPSs because that is part of the package, right? So we'll make sure that will happen. Right. The next step is for those districts that are ready, we will be working to get quotes from AT&T. We want to do our diligence to make sure that the cost, the quote that they're giving us, the monthly cost, will be equal to or less than what you're paying for your current services. To make sure that we don't have to take a budget action. Yep. Once that is clear, then we're going to be scheduling each district for VoIP rollout.
Nice.
Okay.
That's a big win for Caltrans. It's some technologies.
It sure is. The two biggest thing that I can think of, well, there are more benefits. It's a fixed cost. Okay. There will be no more long distance charges when we make calls throughout the country. And then the other thing is going to be voice quality, audio quality is going to be much better than what we're receiving right now. As well, an integrated directory. You don't need to memorize people's telephone numbers. We will all be in a single directory that we can dial from.
Oh, nice.
All right. Last but not least, I want to thank everyone for taking a leap forward in rolling out the latest Windows 10 operating system on our desktops and
all right.
laptops.
So you just operating system. That's
just
what we're
operating system.
Okay, all right.
We're focused on the operating system. Now, in the past, many organizations wait until Microsoft announced their last day of support, and they wait until the year before, and it turns into a project, and it is very stressful to do that. My understanding is that Windows 10, the last day of support is going to be somewhere in 2020.
Okay.
So what we want to do is leverage the opportunity when we refresh our desktops and laptops. We want to put the new operating system into the environment and treat that as maintenance and operations so that we don't have to deal with the stressful project, very close to the support day. So there were a couple of barriers that we have been standing in the way. for rolling out Windows 10. One of them is Wake on LAN. Our Wake on LAN Verdim software, the maintenance for that was stopped 2 years ago due to budgetary constraints. But recently we have put a 3-year maintenance renewal in place. The latest software has been installed and configured, being tested, and those that are running on Windows 10 have the client for which we can basically wake those up at night or whenever we need to patch our machines so that they are secure and avoid malware attacks such as the WannaCry recent cyber attack.
Got it.
Thanks to all the staff and managers out there dealing with the Windows 10 rollout. We'll continue to do that as we bring in new hardware. And as you know, George, as we roll out new Windows operating system, training is always the question, right? What do we do about training? Well, we have different groups of people that basically learn different ways, right? So for some that really don't need training, we're going to be using the postcards with some cheat sheets and features and so on to help them navigate around the operating system. For those that need a little bit more training than that, we're going to use Microsoft free training offerings on the web.
Nice.
To make sure that they can get access to that. And for those who really want to be super users, we want to work with the program managers so that they can get access to customized Windows training, operating system training, to get to the deepest level, the most technical level that they desire. So that's our plan as of
Good.
right now.
Well, fantastic. Well, certainly lots going on, and I appreciate all your efforts. I got to tell you, the Windows 10 and the VoIP, and certainly the biggest project to me is really the hardware refresh and getting ready so we can tee that up again for next year.
It is.
And so
We
thanks
got
for
a
the
lot of work.
touchdown. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Good
Thanks
job.
for having me. Thank you.
All right. All right, Tracy, Mike brings me football. What do you got?
I got nothing, but
Oh,
I have
man.
a question for Coop.
All right.
Is he your new secret weapon?
Yeah, I'm the quarterback.
the new quarterback?
Yeah. Give me something a little younger. You heard it here first. I'm going to be playing for the local before I get redshirted.
There you go. All right, so I have 4 updates that I'd like to share with everyone today. The first one is around our Advantage compatibility upgrade. With this, for those who don't know what it is, what we did was we upgraded some of the peripheral software for the Advantage system, and we also moved it from managed services over at OTEC to tenant managed services and put it on new hardware. And so one of the biggest advantages of doing this, and it was kind of a side effect that we were, keeping everything crossed and hoping it would happen, was an impressive increase in our performance.
Oh, fantastic.
So our nightly runs are running much, much quicker. It's not running into the next day.
Yep.
So far, where's some wood I can knock on? Year end has been going really well. We've not had, last year we experienced some really bad downtime and some issues. And we've not been experiencing any of that. So there were 45 staff, including IT, business, and our vendor who worked on this. And May 8th, we put that into production,
All right.
and so far it's been running just great. So we're
Yeah,
really, really pleased with
Some
it.
of the stats on that, because I want to say the batch window was running 22 hours before, and it's down to just a few hours now?
Yes,
Wow, that's
it's way, way down.
That's
So
fantastic.
we're very
Good.
pleased. And the next thing I want to talk about is application inventory and rationalization status. I've talked about this at the quarterly all staff a few times before, but for those who don't know, what we're doing is we are doing basically an inventory of all of the applications that IT supports. So not only IT at headquarters, but also IT in the districts. And the district managers and staff have been great partners in gathering all of this information. Not only are we gathering the information, but we're also looking at rationalizing the application. So we're using the Gartner time model, which is, it puts it into 4 different categories based on a bunch of questions that not only IT answers around the hardware and software pieces, but also on the business, from the business perspective. So it's tolerate, invest, migrate, or eliminate. So the great news on this is we're making great progress. So we've received at headquarters, we've received about 65% of our surveys back from the business areas. But what's really impressive is the districts are at 97%. I have
That's
one district
awesome.
who's trying to wrap it up so that
All
they
right.
can be 100%. So really excited about that.
That's fantastic. I think that's a great tool to understand really where all our applications lie,
Yes.
looking for some of the duplication and overlap. And I know we've talked to Greg before about on the intake side, if we get a request for an application that's already been developed,
Mm-hmm.
that we can say, oh, can we just leverage the existing application in some way?
Yes, and some of the information that we're capturing with this in our inventory is also helpful to Mike's team, as well as long-term, once we've done all the rationalization on these applications. I think Greg's team will be able to use it for some of the projects moving forward and seeing where, maybe he can nudge some of the business areas into, well, you've got this application out here. You guys say that it's highly valuable, but it's on older technology. So I think that'll give all of IT as well as the business area a great tool to use moving forward.
I'm excited about it, and you're actually posting results on our intranet as well. So you're being transparent about the information you're finding.
Yes, definitely.
That's good.
Next thing I want to talk about is the emergency contact information. So due to a recent event that happened in the organization where there was a need to get a hold of emergency information around a couple of employees, HR came to us and asked us if we had a way where we could make that available online. So we've worked with the business areas and we've worked with HR, and we've developed we've put in place a new application within Staff Central. So it's new
great.
functionality within Staff Central that allows us to be able to do this. So the status on this one right now is it's been fully developed, it's been tested, and the business area is happy with it. But HR is doing some communication as well as some user guides before they announce it out to everybody. But we are expecting it to go live this coming month, or this month. It's already
amazing.
June.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
And I
so-
think it would be great to be able to share that information. Some folks may have concerns about being able to get to that information. Will it be secured, or how will that work?
Right. So by means of putting it within Staff Central, it'll be in the same repository as all of your personal information today. So today, only HR, who has a need to know, as well as your immediate supervisor, has access to that information. So it will be secure. So not just any manager can go in
Good.
and look at your information.
Okay.
So it's very secure.
Yeah, that's important.
The last thing I want to talk about is Quick Maps. We have 3 exciting enhancements that we're getting ready to, 2 that we're rolling out and 1 that we're doing a proof of concept. So the first one is we are integrating Waze data. So we've been
Fantastic.
playing around with it and seeing how we can make it useful. And just like all of the other options within Quick Maps, you can choose whether or not you want to show the Waze data. So in the past, me being a huge user of Quick Map and Waze, I always brought up both of them because they had different types of information. Well, as of July 15th, I'll be able to only have to bring up Quick Map, and I'll be able to see all that information.
Great.
So that's really exciting.
That is exciting.
The next one that I wanted to talk about is the ability for the mobile applications to do immediate alerts. So if something tragic happens on the freeways, we lose a bridge, hopefully not. We have a landslide,
be
an
tragic.
avalanche on 395 in the winter.
We expand the coastline with more coastline.
Yeah, but we can put up travel alerts,
Okay.
and PIO is the one who manages that information, so they'll be able to determine what does go up there and what doesn't. But they'll be able to do that immediately. Today
Okay.
it takes us some time to roll that out, so we're making that an immediate.
Got it.
And that again is rolling out with the other Waze enhancement. We're
fantastic.
bundling that together, and it'll go out on July 15th as well.
Quick Map's been a great application for Caltrans and the traveling public. So
It
it's been
has,
nice.
it has. So the final thing I want to talk
Yep.
about, and this is the proof of concept. So this is just in the proof of concept stage. So we're working with the business area. They've given us some rudimentary requirements around it. And it's the ability to show where snowplows are. So I queried with my staff. I'm like, well, what if they're all parked in the parking lot? That won't look very good. And they said it's only going to be those that are actively snowplowing.
Okay,
And
good.
so what it'll be is what we've developed so far in the proof of concept, which we're showing, I think, on June 23rd of this month, is it'll show all active snowplows. And again, it's one of those things where you can turn on or
nice.
off.
All right.
And you can click, okay, so you're on 395 and you want to see, well, give me more information about that snowplow. So you can click on it and it'll pop up more information around the snowplow.
Awesome.
So not sure about the details, still working out that, but it's really exciting.
Yeah, well, transportation ties communities together. So the snowplow, clearing the roads, it's all a part of knitting those communities together.
Yes, it's just
That's huge.
another tool that we're giving our traveling public to be able to make safe travel arrangements, right? So they already have access to Quick Maps itself, so they can see what traffic is flowing. They can look at whether or not there are chain controls in place. They have the changeable message signs, and they have the what was the other one? Oh, I forgot. Anyway, so this will give them one more option
Good.
that they can
One more layer.
one more layer. So
Perfect.
all right. And then the last thing I want to talk about is Quick Maps is now an award-winning application.
Wow, look at that.
So in February of this year, we went to the Government Transformation and Innovation session, And they had 5 applications that were up for this award. And so we did a presentation on it, and we won. So we won the Innovative Team Award of Excellence. So hats off to all of the team that support this, as well as the team that was there that day that answered a lot of questions. So if you haven't downloaded the application onto your mobile phone, do so. But this is really exciting. We're looking forward to having more awards, not just for this application, but other very innovative things that ITSD as well as IT in the districts are going to be working on.
I agree. You know, there's a lot of great work that happens with our teams. So I love having the opportunity to put things forward, you know, whether it's Quick Map or other things. So I'm constantly looking for those ideas for everybody out there. And there's plenty of awards for us to apply for.
Yep,
But congratulations.
definitely.
It's a great
All right.
effort. Thank
All
you,
right.
Tracy.
Thanks, George.
You bet. All right. I think the last one is the security update. You know, normally we would have Carl Copper here, but Carl recently had a new addition to the family, so we didn't put him on travel status. Unfortunately, that means you've got me as a stand-in. So let's talk about some of the things that are happening in the security world. The first thing is payment card industry. And that's really around the payments that we get, you know, whether they're for ODA or what have you. We take in millions of dollars of payments. You know, some of it's over the counter where folks come in and, you know, they do it manually, or some of it, you know, is actually online. And what we're trying to do is make sure we've got a good understanding of what all those payment card transactions are, and to start assessing that to see if we're in compliance with, you know, payment card industry standards. A lot of other transportation departments do this. Certainly look at DMV, they've got a huge footprint in payment card transactions. So Carl's starting that process of understanding what the as is, you know, all those applications and all those transactions, as well as he's submitted for some grant funding so we can bring somebody in and help do the assessment and work through any issues they may find. The second thing is cybersecurity incident response workshops. Carl's already had a couple, and I think he's going to continue to bring in, especially some IT staff, to run those mock drills. You know, you look at the WannaCry thing that happened, as Mike mentioned earlier, it crippled a lot of organizations. You saw, you know, the UK hospitals and so forth, you know, they weren't patched, right? Some of that hygiene that we do a good job with wasn't happening in other organizations. But at the same time, we also need to prepare for a response. What happens in those situations? Carl's already spun up some language. In fact, if there is some kind of cybersecurity issue, you know, he's got a playbook of potential responses depending on the issue, but more importantly, he's trying to bring folks together so we can run those drills and make sure we're prepared for those incidents. Security awareness training. I'm going to ask the audience here, the broad audience, what percentage do you think we're at for IT from 0 to 100% in terms of completing the security awareness training? Any ideas?
95%.
Mike, that was a Bishop question, but thank you very much. I appreciate that. We are at 97%. I'm going to throw this football. No, anyway. So out of the almost 600 staff that we have, right, we're down to like 10, 11 folks that haven't taken the training. And a lot of times folks are out, you know, like Carl's been out, for instance, but I encourage you to take that training because that information does get distributed to the deputies on a weekly basis. And I got to tell you, I'm so proud that we're able to get to 97%. I think Tracy's group got to 100% first within a couple of weeks of that training, so nice job. And again, right, I mean, back to WannaCry, are there virus threats? You know, a lot of those situations happen because users are clicking on, you know, the wrong emails. So definitely take the training. It's only half an hour, and thanks to everybody who has taken the training. The last thing is the new security positions. You know, with Carl's BCP, he's getting 6 positions. So you're going to start to see some of those job ops be posted. Now, they're in Sacramento, but certainly, you know, I think security is one of those areas folks need to consider because it's a growing area, you know, and even though it may mean Sacramento, you know, I would say look for those job ops to come out. Carl's going to try to get out of the gate early. I don't know if it'll be the 60 in 3, but certainly there is some priority about hiring those security folks. And that's really the security update. You know, I think we also came up with some questions ahead of time. We're going to go through those. We may have gotten some online. Is that one? Okay. All right, one more for George. All right, very good. Is it related to my football prowess or?
To strategic plan.
Strategic plan, oh, very good. We'll start off the Q&A. So here we go. Tracy, I think the first one's yours.
It is. All right, so the first one, we've received a question from staff regarding motivating staff. So how do you motivate staff? So, you know, what I've always done in the past is food and caffeine. That always works with IT staff, right? We like to work in weird hours and, you know, so food and staff, you'll always find food in ITSD no matter where you go. But seriously, you know, it's really, for me, it's around communication. It's being open and honest with your staff. It's getting to know your staff, know what motivates them. Find opportunities for them to grow in areas where they are interested. Of course, it still needs to be, you know, tied to their current job, but be open, be honest, be available to them. And finally, I want to tie into something that you said earlier was around doing celebrations. So make sure that you do celebrations. They're very important. We've had a few of them in ITSD recently. We've done some really great things, AdComp and some of the stuff around Quick Maps and things like that. So,
All right, thank
all
you,
right?
Tracy.
You're welcome.
Next question. Promotions in place. Right here, in place.
Right here, yeah. So this one actually had to do not only with promotions in place, but T&D opportunities
Okay.
and kind of looking at what opportunities might be there. So promotions in place are still an option. So that's the good news.
Oh, good.
And but they're governed by some pretty set, you know, rules that are put in place.
We do work in government, so
Yeah, we
we're
do.
gonna have
So
all those
what would
rules.
government be without the rules? So we, the promotion, there cannot be a vacancy in the organization. So that's one thing Division of HR looks at, make sure, are there any other vacancies? It has to be funding neutral, as we know, since we're not getting additional personal service dollars coming in. So if we do a promotion in place, we have to also downgrade a vacancy. The third one that we have to deal with and look at as a management team is the fairness of it, so that we are looking at the holistic view of promotions in place, just to make sure that it's applied consistently throughout. There is a caveat, though, which is going to be a little thread for a couple of these other questions coming in, is we've got the new IT reclassification effort,
yes.
which is going to take the 25 existing classifications down to about 9, and there's going to
Okay.
be some deepening, and they're going to be stovepiping some of the classifications in. We don't know exactly what the implementation of that's going to look like. So that one we may need to kind of see how that impacts our kind of how we view promotions in place, and you know how
Got
the Cal HR wants to implement that.
You know, I've heard a lot of talk about the whole reclass, you know, down from the, what did you say, 20-something?
There's 25
25?
classifications, unique classifications, and they're getting down to
About 9?
About 9.
So have we, you know, have we heard a lot from Cal HR? Is Cal HR actively engaging departments for
They
that?
are engaged. It's really their, they're holding it pretty close. It's their baby, as they
Okay.
describe it. They have reached out to our staff and IT and other IT organizations as well to help out, kind of reviewing their classification specs and some of the type of questions that might be asked in new examinations.
Got it.
And so we've had staff not only at the management level, but also at the rank and file and different levels contributing to that, along with other departments.
Well,
as
certainly it's a long time in coming. Some of those class specs go back to the 70s.
Yes,
You know, and I think some of our classification titles don't really make sense.
correct.
You know,
Yes,
to a lot of
that's-
folks. So I'm hopeful
Yep.
that Cal HR can close the door on this one and get a touchdown, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, we're right there. We're cheering all the way. So.
All right. Well, thank you, Greg.
You're
Appreciate it.
welcome. We might have another one here.
Do you have another one?
Yeah. Okay, availability of IT positions higher than staff ISA in the district. So I think we've mentioned this in the
Yeah.
past and past all staff meetings. So the team is always looking at making sure that we've got the right IT classifications for the work we do. And this one is, you know, we were looking at different issues, and well, we are, and we're looking at the classifications. I think this one we're also kind of looking to see how this reclassification effort works, to see how that may influence our strategy in moving forward. But I know you shared that commitment earlier to take a look at that and make sure we do have the right classifications.
Yeah.
So this one, I don't have a definitive answer. I can't say it's not no, which is always nice, so it's
Yeah.
not giving you a no, but we're going to look at kind of how that overall IT classification.
And do we have positions that are higher than staff now in some of the districts, or is staff the highest we see?
No, we have a couple seniors
Okay.
out there in the districts and senior soups,
Okay.
but their point is well taken.
Yeah, it certainly does exist, and I agree with you. I think as we've had discussions with HR, part of that's been around waiting to see what happens with the reclass.
Yep.
And it takes a lot of their support, right, as we move forward with the BCP. This year, we'll probably start to do some studies with HR, whether they're desk assessments or, bringing in some folks to look at our classifications and do those comparisons. So we're still committed to it. I think it's just going to take a little more work and a little more coordination with DHR.
Yeah, you
to get
mentioned that one
going.
was going to be
Yeah.
we had to go the whole length of the football field.
Well,
on
yeah,
that
we were on
one,
the
but
2-inch
yeah,
line on that one, so I think we're up to the 4-inch
Yeah,
line.
we're-
We've doubled our progress.
That's
Greg.
right. We haven't turned it over on downs yet. so
No,
that's
no,
nice,
not yet.
so,
We're
yeah.
holding that thick skin tight. All right.
Do I have one more? Oh, okay. So this
you talked
one,
about
yeah,
this.
we basically talked to George teed that up early, so I think we just covered that one.
Okay.
And IT org chart, so this is a good question. So we had a question coming in, looking at the org charts online. I think they were April 2017 right now. We're at the end of May, and they want to know, well, when are they updated? They're updated monthly. So the next ones probably for May should be being posted anytime now. Right, Carrie Jean? You out there? So the next version will be out there. So we'll just try to keep them
Okay.
updated. We do keep them updated monthly. So they may, although it may look like it's a month in the past, it's actually was posted probably at the end of the month. So for the prior month.
Yeah, I think your folks actually put in a lot of work for that. I mean, they're double checking the numbers to make sure all the count's right. And, as little groups have some changes, they're making sure all the
And
classifications
there's going to be a
are
lot of
listed
changes
correctly.
coming up, right, with the 60 and 30?
60, that's
We're
right.
moving-
You'll be
taking off a
blowing
lot of
away
those yellow
break-
boxes.
I love
yeah.
it. I love it. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Very good. Now, did we also receive, I think we also received a couple more questions. Mike, are you taking one of those? Or?
I'll take one of those.
Okay.
So the newest question that we just received has to do with virtualization of the infrastructure. What are we doing about it to make sure that we gain greater efficiency by leveraging virtualization? So we're doing a lot about it, right? In order to virtualize, for instance, servers, we're going to make sure that our server hosts are up to date, right? So by doing the hardware refresh, will enable us to do more virtualization of servers. So what's left in the infrastructure to virtualize? Now we got network as well as storage, right? So what are we doing about those fronts? On network, as soon as the hardware refresh start rolling, we're going to have our network management team start looking at Cisco-based ACI virtualization solution, as well as VMware NSX, right? That's going to be the next step in terms of virtualizing our network components. We are going to be looking at microsegmentation from a security standpoint as well. When we look at NSX, if that's going to be a solution that we're moving forward with. So that's a lot to do there to basically POC this, right, to prove it, to make sure that we know what we're doing, to make sure that it is stable and it has support, right? There's a higher a level of adoption in the market so that the supplies and demands in terms of skill set that we need to maintain and sustain this will be available, to support the technologies. As far as storage solution, we have plenty of different types of storage. Earlier, we invested in Pure Storage for our SSD. They too have a virtualization solution. We are consolidating our VNX storage solution, whereby we're moving and consolidating our file systems onto that platform and buying more arrays of disks to ensure that we have capacity to serve the business programs, as well as dealing with backup storage and archival. In terms of virtualizing those solutions, we got 3 flavors. So we'll have Fred and his team at headquarters start looking into doing a proof of concept to see what else we can gain in terms of efficiency for storage solutions with the state.
Got it. Well,
Okay.
thanks. I appreciate that
All right.
update. I think we also received another question about the strategic plan. And that question, you may have seen the strategic plan on the pyramid or the birthday cake, right? Whatever we want to term that. But basically, I still have a goal to develop a strategic plan. We've done a lot of planning, you know. We've started to better understand our assets, and we needed that for the hardware refresh. You know, Tracy's working through the understanding our applications better. There's also the standards document that we developed. There's a business plan that we developed. And Mike, your team is working on a 5-year architectural plan.
That's
or
correct.
architectural roadmap. So the strategic plan is another leg, and that's going to be looking out further. You know, for me, that's going to take a little more effort because what I like to do is engage our constituents, like the district directors and the deputies at headquarters. But you know, hopefully, coming into this year, we can at least launch some strategic plan effort in our business plan. We'll see. You know, that's a prioritization game because we already have so much going on our plate. I'm sensitive to that. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop asking, but you know, it's understanding what we have on our plate and our capacity to add new stuff to the plate. But strategic plan, hopefully this year you'll see some traction on that. All right, is that all the questions, Ron? Is that what you know, Ron? You've been helping us so much. Can I ask you to come on camera because you've been helping us with our question. I want folks to, Ron, thank you very much for helping with the questions and for making the trip to Bishop. I know this is impromptu. I didn't tell you I was going to do this, but you know, I like to do things a little. Hopefully not risky. No. No. You've been here, right, at Caltrans for a number of years. Can you tell us a little bit about, here comes the mic, a little bit about kind of your background, your history with Caltrans?
Well, thank you, George. No, it's been a pleasure to work for Caltrans. We joke about bleeding orange, and you know, I have orange blood in my veins. I'm passionate about the department. I really believe in our mission, our vision, and it's really great to get out and talk with Brent and the district initiatives that he's got going on, his priorities, and how they align with IT. Yeah. But as far as my career, you know, I've supported all things enterprise for many, many years, and it's been a pleasure, you know, working with all of you in IT. You guys have been so supportive to my teams. You continue to be supportive. We have a lot of change coming with the infrastructure hardware refresh. We have a lot of initiatives surrounding product, you know, O365. That's a big one. We're really preparing our infrastructure not only from a network perspective, but also from our users' perspective, and you know, moving to new product like Windows 10, management tools that we may have, more product in the O365 suite, you know, a new version of Office, Windows 10. So it's great working with all of you, and George, I appreciate the opportunity to kind of talk about that experience over all these years.
Well, great, Ron. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for coming on camera. You did a great job. It wasn't too much risk. I'm happy for that.
Oh, thank you.
All right. All right, that leaves next stop, certainly. What is the next stop? We're going to D1. Now, I hope that they don't make me correct myself. I think you can't beat D9 in terms of, you know, looking at the mountains, the Sierras, and so forth. But we're looking at D1, and that'll be sometime, I think, August, September. Is that about right? August time? All right, so maybe it'll be a little cooler. We can get out of Sacramento and get up to a cooler neighborhood. But thank you for joining us. And as always, you know, Ask George is up. So if you've got any questions, you know, feel free to email me or feel free to, you know, talk to your supervisor. That's also a great place to start to find out what's going on and where we're heading. So thank you.